Next in line, Tyler Monroe. You should have the ability to unmute yourself now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you tell us your program?
I'm a liberal arts student at Lane. My question is this. It seems to me that this crisis is related to a daily crisis that many students face at the new school. If the climate assessment is any indication, many students were already struggling with food scarcity and homelessness, and these problems have been largely ignored by the university. I want to know how the bloated administration can justify taking in millions of dollars as salary and townhouses. I want to know why there isn't enough transparency over these kind of funding and how you can justify this in a time of crisis.
Well, thank you for your question, Tyler. I'm not sure what to answer other than point you to the financial slides we put out there to show you the portions spent on different things at the university. But I can't, not much more to say to that. We are trying the best we can to put the programs together and put them on, and we don't run profits here, and it's there's not much more I can say about it.
I still think they consider taking a pay cut.
Well, thank you. That is certainly one of the options that are on the table. Every option's on the table, ranging from pay cuts for the top people to furloughs to closing buildings to doing a variety of things in order to keep us going. So that certainly is on the table.
I might add, Tyler, that one of the wonderful things about the new school is where we are and the incredible range of faculty that we have and the quality of faculty and the location. But it also does contribute to a very expensive education. We know it's expensive. We think it's an excellent one and worth it. But we are very mindful, actually, of the impost on students. And if it were not for this virus situation, we were setting up a long-range project called the Centennial Project, which was one of its key tenets was to look at the cost of education going forward and trying to do everything we can, knowing that one of our great assets is also one of the things that makes it so expensive, but trying to think of really systemic approaches to the cost of education going forward to try and relieve the burden on students who are struggling to get through. We know that, and it's a very important project and one we know we have to tackle. And as David said, salaries are also on the table. It doesn't make up a huge amount of the budget, but nevertheless, we all have to make sacrifices. People are making sacrifices, and we do take that point.
Everyone, yeah.
Thanks, Tyler. We'll move on to the next one. Mallory Siegel. You should be able to, there you go.
Hi.
Oh.
So I am in the DPATS program, and this is my final semester.
Wow.
And I have a question for David. Mm-hmm. In your 2012 interview with Crain's, February, you said, start quote, "In this world, you have to be relevant. We need to match our programs to which parts of the economy are expected to grow. In the face of this global pandemic, and to Tyler's point, where before this hit, that many students have been experiencing houselessness, food insecurity, and the inability to effectively manage the demands of being a full-time student and a full-time employee. Now, with this growing rate of unemployment and a global recession, in addition to the 3.8% tuition hike, which would have the average annual tuition being $51,000 a year, how are the programs now being offered and for the following semesters matching the ways in which the economy is expected to grow?
Well, I would say, great question. I would say that the current programs are not. And given what's happening in the economy, that's what we have to work very hard on going forward, both for the fall and then for the future of the university. There are many trends going on in the economy, but also in higher education. Tim pointed out to some of the big problems, which is we are so expensive. because of the kind of education we offer and the location we are, that if we keep doing the same thing, we are, and I've felt this for a while, we are pricing ourselves out of what a middle class family can actually afford. So I think there are going to have to be very substantial changes in how we do the education. Changes are going to have to be made. What exactly those are, I don't know, but certainly, I think there are going to be big changes in the budget and other things.
Right. I imagine that at least at the 2018 valuation of the housing provided to the president, that it had it at $15 million, $196,000. And although that the cost estimated for tuition refunds is 80 to 90 million, do you think that having the university pay you over $1 million a year and take care of your housing, which is valued at almost over $15 million, do you think that that's fundamentally unfair? Because I think that's fundamentally unfair. And I notice that there is a lot of lip service towards this progressivism, but if you are limiting it to this quote unquote myth of a middle class, I think at the end of the day, it's coming down to your optics, and not the livelihood of students.
Yeah. Thank you for that contribution. Yeah.
I'm waiting for yours.
We're moving on to the next person to make sure we can get through as many questions as we can. Selena Rios, you should be able to speak now.
Hi, my name is Selena, and I am a graduate student now at the Media Studies program. I just graduated last semester, and I'm supposed to be walking across stage this spring. And, I know that everything that is happening is really, really hard. I have been really impacted by a lot of my pre-existing anxiety and it being very debilitating for me. And regardless of that, I do feel like I want to try and find joy wherever I can. And so my question is, how likely, instead of canceling ceremonies and commencement, is it that you all will just be able to postpone it? Because, I feel like after everything that's happened, there's been so much, just so much terrible stuff happening in the world. And that would be a place where I would be able to, and I'm sure a lot of other students would be able to find some kind of joy, especially after, graduating. And I am a first-gen graduate from my family, and this has been a long road and journey for me, and I would love to still have it, even if it is postponed. I don't know what that looks like.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. Thank you. And I agree with a lot of your sentiment about the importance of something like commencement. Right now, we are going to at least postpone commencement, in part because the facility we use, the Arthur Ashe Tennis Center, has been converted into a hospital by the city. We are looking at a number of different options. A couple, they could be combined. There's the idea of doing a virtual commencement at the time our original commencement is supposed to happen. Other things we're looking at are doing an actual physical commencement sometime in October, once people can, once we can get back into the buildings and hopefully return to a more normal life. We very much welcome ideas, what graduating students in particular might feel would be more meaningful to them. And so I urge you, just to email us or talk to us about that. And because we're open to just about anything, doing anything. We did want to let people know, just for travel and hotel purposes, that we can't do it as we planned in May in the traditional way.
I totally get that. I mean, I had family members that already purchased their flight tickets to come here, and so that's been kind of an added stressor for me, just because knowing that they lost some jobs and now they also won't be able to be here to celebrate my graduation. So is there a way that you all can post here or send out an email where we can voice our concerns about commencement and ceremony? And also, personally just voicing it out right now, even if it needs to be postponed until the following graduation year, I would much rather do that than have it completely just, we're just not going to do it, because I feel like that's really unfair after paying the amount of tuition that we've paid over the past 4 years or whatever. And also just because we've worked really hard for this, for the graduating class of 2020. So.
No, I thank you very much. And yes, we would welcome your suggestions and ideas. I can assure you we're going to do something, and we want to make it as relevant as possible to graduating students and their families.
Thank you.
We will do something. Yeah.
Thanks, Selena. We're coming up on time here. I know there's a lot of unanswered questions, so I would recommend that if everybody can take a look in that chat bar, there are some emails there for the University Student Senate that we are in very close communication with. You can reach out to them and they can collect those for us. And then emails, of course, for everyone in this group are on the website directory. So with that, I want to go ahead and hand it over to David and Tim for any closing thoughts before we let everyone enjoy their evening.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for participating. I want I know many people are hurting. We've heard bits of it today. We continue to hear it day in, every day. We are trying the best we can to try to address as much of that as we possibly can. But I also want people to look forward, because we will get out of this. We want to keep people on track in terms of graduating and continuing their course. We're doing everything we can to be sure that happens. And we hope when we finally get back on campus that we will see everybody, and everybody will be safe and healthy and come through all this for us.
Likewise, just adding my care to you all to stay safe and stay well. But also, David and I are the people you should be asking your hardest questions to. That's the nature of our work and our job. But please, as I said before, your faculty and deans and staff that are working tirelessly to try and provide you the best education, just be nice to them. Target us, but be nice to them, because they're the ones really doing the work that the university has to be doing for all of your education. So thank you. I know this is very distressing for everybody. It's very uncertain, but as David said, we're going to pull through this. You'll be looking back at this at some point in the not too distant future and realize that this may be one of the most profound experiences that shapes your life and career going forward in positive ways, as well as the negative ones you're experiencing. So, and we are here to try and really help you in that transformation to find learning and find meaning in what is otherwise a particularly scary moment. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you on campus just as soon as we can. Thank you.
And I want to thank Carissa and our Student Senate participants as well. So thank you, everyone. Be safe.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.